Renowned Canadian poet George Elliott Clarke is withdrawing from his appearance at the University of Regina. The former poet laureate of Canada was to deliver a lecture about truth and reconciliation. Well, joining us now with more on that story is CBC's Bonnie Allen in Regina. So, Bonnie, tell us about this decision. Why did Clarke do this?
Sure. Well, George Elliott Clarke says he never intended to cause such anguish to the family of Pamela George and the Indigenous community in Regina. And so it is with great sadness that he has decided to withdraw. This controversy really arose when it came to light that Clarke has a long-standing friendship and working relationship with Stephen Comerfield, who beat an Indigenous woman to death in Regina 25 years ago. Now, Comerfield was convicted of manslaughter. He served his sentence, and he now lives in Mexico and publishes poetry under a new name, Stephen Brown. Clarke has worked with him on poetry. He's edited his books. He even featured Stephen Comerfield's poems on the parliamentary website when he was the Poet Laureate of Canada. But Clarke says he was unaware of Comerfield's violent past. He learned about it in September, and then he did two things that people here say was quite painful. One, he didn't disclose it. He didn't say, listen, I have this relationship, you should know about it. And two, he said that he may or may not read Comerfield's poetry during his lecture. And so that caused a lot of fear, uncertainty, pain, anguish, and there were calls for the university to cancel it. The university refused on the matter of academic freedom and principle. Now, Clarke decided that he wouldn't read Comerfield's poetry. He made that decision last night, and then today he said that he would withdraw entirely from the lecture, and he said that he was going to discuss the role of poets in dealing with social issues, but he feels that interest in that has been lost due to the current controversy.
And what about reaction? Has there been anything so far?
Yes, absolutely. Now, the University of Regina issued a statement, and it said that there's much work for it to do in repairing relationships with Indigenous people, that it has worked very hard in a process it calls indigenization, which is creating a safe and welcoming space for Indigenous faculty and students on campus. And it issued the statement. It said the university recognizes that the original decision to bring Canadian poet George Elliott Clarke in as this year's Woodrow Lloyd Lecturer was not supported by all communities and unfortunately brought back painful memories for many in relation to the 1995 killing of Pamela George. Clarke informed the university today that he will not participate in the lecture. The university says it will not find a replacement speaker for the January 23rd event, and it will spend the next few days consulting with Indigenous leaders, groups, and elders. This doesn't settle it, though, Hannah. I spoke to the manager of the Indigenous Student Center today, Mindy Longman, and this is what she had to say about how she feels.
My reaction is exhaustion and anger. I'm angry that we had to get to this point and it had to erupt and have so many hurt feelings for this to finally be canceled.
So there will be many more conversations to be had in this. George Elliott Clarke likely won't be part of those, but there's a lot of healing over this. This still has to be done at the University of Regina.
Bonnie, thanks for the latest.
Welcome.
CBC's Bonnie Allen in Regina.